So you're thinking about selling your home. Well, brace yourself, because it's not just about putting a sign in the front yard, sitting back and then cashing a big check. Sometimes there's surprises. Sometimes there's stressful things, and you won't believe the things that could happen. From commissions, to moving trucks, to emotional roller coasters, to curveballs, to the changes in buyer compensation for the agents. All these things will affect you when selling your home. So stay tuned and let's dive in. First up, real estate commissions. Now, most sellers don't realize just how big of a slice of the pie this really is and what this takes from your final proceeds. So in average, in California, the average amount of these commissions is 5.18%. So if you do the math really simple, if it's just an $800,000 home at those commissions, you're giving away $41,000 that it will take to sell your home. When you're interviewing your agents, don't just hire anyone random off the street that may have been in the gutter last night or just got their license, or you don't know what. So when you're interviewing them, you want to ask, one of the first things is, what's their compensation? And second thing, can they give you a seller net sheet? The net sheet before they take the listing is going to break down every single cost so that you know what to expect and what money you're actually walking away with. Moving expenses. Moving is way more expensive than people expect. Between rental trucks, deposits, new furnitures, booking in advance, all these things add up really fast. So one of the tips I really recommend to people is start planning in advance who you're going to use to move your furniture, who you're going to hire, and then remember, don't book the moving truck on the day of the closing because things can always go wrong. Book it a couple days out so that you save yourself additional expense of having to rebook the exact moving date. And then let's just jump into a little bit of repairs before your home goes on sale. So it may surprise you, but 71% of people selling their homes will make one big improvement prior to putting their home on the market. That one big improvement on an average costs around $5,400. That's a big chunk of change for these ticket repairs, and you have to remember to think about taking that back out of your net sheet as well so that you know the true cost of profit. Side note, if you want a quick reference, I got 2 other videos about what not to do before selling your home and then what to do to get the best rate of return on your home. You may want to check out those videos also. Simple things that people see right in front of their face, like a new coat of paint, some fresh landscaping. Fix anything that looks broken. If it's a broken fence, a broken tile, broken window. If it's a broken human, I'm just kidding, that's not part of the thing. But fix all the things that are broken around the house so it looks fresh and clean, because that's what the buyer is going to see when they walk onto your property. Now there's also very big ticket items. These big ticket items on average cost around $13,000. What are they? They're things like plumbing, roofing, electrical, maybe some sort of foundational issues. You may want to fix these things prior to listing your home on the market, or if you hired a pro agent that's a real professional, you could make it to where your agent has the buyer pay for these repairs, thus increasing the net that comes to you when your home sale is closed. Time is really not on your hands when you're selling your house because most people don't realize the amount of time it takes to get their home ready for the sale. From getting your home ready for the sale, from all these small repairs, to decluttering, to staging, to organizing, to getting everything perfect, all these things take time. So my tip would be start ahead of time in doing this and start thinking about it even before you hire your real estate agent, because time doesn't wait for anyone. So a final note with this timing thing, you need to start focusing on this is the next chapter of your life. Focus on what you're gaining with the sale of the house, not what you're leaving behind. Because emotion does come into play when you're getting your house ready to sell because it was your home. Next, let's take a look at inspection reports. Now, most people buying your home will get their own inspection report because that's what their buyer's agent is supposed to use to negotiate the home price in their advantage. But one thing that you can do as a seller of your home is get an inspection report ahead of time. Fix all those things so that nobody else can come back and try and renegotiate your price down. Now, these home inspection reports do cost between an average of $400 to possibly $900. But the amount of money you save in the negotiations is vast. I've seen examples where sellers did their home inspections before on their own house, did the repairs, and end up gaining more than $10,000 more because when the buyer did their home inspection, they couldn't find anything to complain about and renegotiate. So take your time with this, do the inspection, correct the things ahead of time. It'll save you money later. If you want a deeper dive into home inspection reports and what to look at, what not to think about, I got a video about that too. Repair request. Now this is where the buyer's agent comes back and asks for things to be fixed. But here's something that's one of your giant secret weapons. Once again, if you hired a real professional and a good agent, they can help negotiate all this to where maybe you pay, maybe you don't pay. But one of the easiest ways to settle different things with repair costs is to simply give the buyer of your home a seller's credit so that they can fix it their own self on their own time with their own contractors, and that lightens the load that you're already carrying with the sale of your house. The real estate market has changed. We're not in the same environment that we were in 2020 when homes sell in 5 days. Now in 2025, we have inventory creeping up. We have more and more houses coming onto market, yet we have more and more buyers retreating from the market. So this means our market time in itself is growing much longer, which really means it is incredibly crucial who you hire to sell your home, because you don't want your home sitting for months on ends. Now, is it still a strong market to sell your house? Kind of, but it's a much stronger market right now in 2025, in June, for the buyer side to carry a lot more weight than they did before. So you may love your personal items, your armoire, your chandelier, your butterfly chair, and all these other exquisite, immaculate things, but new people buying your house may not like your style and your flair. So all these unnecessary things that are in your home, let's declutter them, let's take them out, let's make it as clean and simple as possible so that that's what the buyers see. And as a pro tip note, you may want to have your agent talk to you about staging your home so that it looks completely different and more appealing to more buyers, thus increasing the likelihood of your home selling faster, quicker, and at a higher price. Now, during this escrow process, we haven't mentioned this yet, but this is important. There's a contingency period for the buyer. This is negotiated between you and your agent when you sign the initial contract, sending it over to him. This contingency period is where they can back out for any reason. So you want to be very mindful with all the things that you're doing during this time frame to make sure that you do everything on your side so that when it comes down for the contingency removal, which means the buyer removes all of their contingencies to buying your house, everyone's in a smooth position, thus relieving everyone's stress. So always pay attention to what is the contingency removal date when selling your house. During the whole process, you want to stay calm. You want to communicate with your agent. You want to express to them things that are going on, how you feel, how's the negotiation, how's the loan, how are we looking. Good communication with a good agent is key because poor communication leads to stress, anger, and you not being happy with the sale of your house. So we save the best for last. This is over the agent's compensation. So this is where you negotiate with the realtor that you picked, which hopefully is a pro. You picked to go, I'm willing to pay you this, this, or this. Now, commissions have been changing in California because of the lawsuits. So this is going to be up to who you hire and what you're willing to pay, because commissions now will run 4%, 5%, 6%, sometimes 3%. But you also have to remember, you ultimately get what you pay for. If you hire someone that works at a massively steep discount, as an example, let's say they charge 3% to sell your house and 1.5% goes to the buyer's agent and 1.5% goes to the seller's agent, you may not attract the best people to buy your house at the best prices. So when you're selling your home, it's not always easy. It's not always simple. But if you get the right guidance, selling your home can be a much better experience than having the wrong guidance, along with choosing the right realtor and people to help you along the way to make sure that this journey is smooth, good, and overall at the end, you're very happy with everything that went on.